What are your thoughts on all the moves so far and the state of this team? I'm really excited. I think Kelly and Amber have done a really good job of finding pieces that fit. It makes me excited about the future, obviously, with Steph and her staff coming in here. My ability to work out with Keith all off-season has been really fun, but it's been fun. I got to work out with DB, and as some off-season leagues and overseas stuff kind of wraps up, a lot of them will start getting back, and I think it will be a lot of fun to get in the gym and be with my teammates and just start putting the pieces together and see what works and what doesn't work. But I think we're going to have a lot of different options to do a lot of different things, and I think that's what's super exciting about it all. You won't believe what Caitlin Clark just revealed about the 2025 WNBA season, with all the big moves happening, new teammates coming in, and the franchise going all in. She finally broke her silence on what's coming next. Is this the real turning point for her team? In a recent interview, Caitlin shared some major insights on the team's direction, new signings, and what it's going to take to dominate next season. And let's just say she did not hold back. Let's start with one of the biggest takeaways from her interview: how she feels about the team's direction. What stands out to you about the experience, the champions that have been added to this team? Yeah, I think that's kind of what everybody talked about when we were in the playoffs last year. We really didn't have much experience at all playing in playoff games. I don't know what the exact number was, but we really lacked in that area. So just adding pieces of players that have been in this league, they know what it takes to win, they know what it takes to get to the finals, they know what it takes to win championships, I think is exactly what we needed in our locker room. So it's just exciting, but also they're not only really good basketball players, they're really great leaders and really great people. Caitlin made it clear that she's excited about what's happening behind the scenes. Kelly and Amber have done a really good job of finding pieces that fit, she said. And if you break that down, she's not just talking about any players, she's talking about the right players, the ones that fill the gaps they had last season, the ones that bring more than just skill, the ones that know what it takes to win at the highest level. Last season, this team had talent. But talent alone doesn't win championships. The playoffs showed that the moment got bigger, and while Clark and her teammates fought hard, they didn't have the kind of veteran leadership and experience that takes teams over the top. That's why the front office wasted no time in making moves that would bring in winners, and that's exactly what they've done. Clark acknowledged that experience was a missing piece last year. We really lacked in that area, she admitted, and when you compare this year's roster to last year's, that's a huge difference. The new signings aren't just good players, they're proven winners. They've been in playoff battles, they've played in finals games, they've lifted trophies. That's the kind of presence that changes the entire identity of a team. And it's not just about what they do on the court, it's about how they prepare, how they lead, how they push everyone around them to a higher standard, similar to what DB said about the competitive fire you all had the moment you had in the playoffs last year. All those things, how do you think your competitive fire can mesh with hers? Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what you want. You want your teammates to be just as competitive as you are. So I think training camp is going to be really fun. That's when you're competing live, you're getting after things. Coaches are figuring out what lineups work, what lineups don't. So I think it's more so the drive of pushing your teammates to get better. And I think that's exactly what she speaks to when she talks about her leadership that's going to push all of us to get better. When you can see a vet like that come in here and want to get better every single day, so you're 12 plus, whatever they are in their career, that's inspiring, that motivates you to want to be better too. But just exciting. Clark knows that she talked about how these veterans bring a mentality that's contagious. When you see players who have been in the league for 12 plus years, still working hard, still looking for ways to get better, it forces the younger players to step up too. That motivates you to want to be better. She said that's exactly what you want on a team that's trying to take the next step. Training camp is going to be the first real test of all these changes. Clark is thrilled about what's ahead, because this is where the team starts figuring things out, what works, what doesn't, what combinations click. And just like everything else with Clark, she's approaching it with competitive fire. You want teammates who are just as competitive as you are, she said. And if you followed her career, you already know she does not back down. If anything, she thrives when she's surrounded by players who challenge her, push her, and match her intensity. That's what makes this training camp so intriguing. It's going to be intense. The team is deeper than before, which means every practice is a battle. Spots are on the line. Chemistry needs to be built, and most importantly, a winning identity has to be established for Clark. This isn't just about making the playoffs, it's about building a team that can win it all. But beyond the on-court aspects, one of the biggest talking points of this entire offseason has been culture. The WNBA is competitive in ways that go far beyond talent. What separates the best teams from the rest isn't just who has the best scorers, it's who has the best locker room, it's who has players that trust each other, hold each other accountable, and bring out the best in one another. And that's exactly why These off-season moves were so important. I know Kelly has talked about how the young core asked to protect the locker room. Just how do you think people like Natasha and DB just fit in culturally with the locker room? I think every person you ask in this league or past teammates that they've had, they only have good things to say about them. And that's the reason all the top teams were going after these type of players, because they know the type of asset they are in the locker room, what type of player they are, but more so their leadership, their knowledge of the game, how hard they work, and those were the only people that we were going to add to this. So I'm just really fortunate we've been able to get a lot of the pieces that we've wanted. So that just speaks to what we've been able to build here over the course of the last year, but also to the front office and what Steph's been able to do, but also to the players that have chosen to come here and are excited about it, and it speaks a lot to them too. They want to win and play in front of a lot of fans, and it fires me up. Honestly, Clark talked about how Natasha and Duana Bonner fit into the locker room, and the key word leadership. Every person you ask in this league about them, all you'll hear is good things, she said. And that speaks volumes. Think about it, when top teams across the league are all trying to sign the same players, there's a reason for that. It's not just about numbers on a stat sheet, it's about what these players bring beyond the game, their presence, their mindset, the way they elevate everyone around them. Clark made it clear that the front office wasn't just looking for talented players. Thanks you.